I came by to return a book. It was supposed to take 5 minutes. 5 minutes! But as usual, nothing went according to plan. Hi, my name is Candy, and I want to take you back to where my story began. My whole life, people have called me lazy, but I preferred to think of myself as energy efficient. I was always coming up with little tricks to get out of everyday chores. For example, I used to walk my dog through the window, and I even set up autocorrect on my phone so I wouldn't have to type long words. My parents were fed up with me always hanging around the house. My mom was really into fitness and was constantly trying to get me into sports too. As you can probably guess, it was completely pointless. But then, one day, my parents did something I never saw coming. It was the first week of summer break. I was lying on the couch, looking forward to some quiet time with a new book. And just so we're clear, being lazy didn't mean I wasn't doing anything useful with my time. I was actually a huge bookworm and a great student. My personal best is 7 books in a single week. Not bad, right? Let me know in the comments. Do you have a favorite book? So there I was, the crisp new pages already rustling beneath my fingers, when Mom interrupted my little moment of bliss. Sweetie, your dad and I have an amazing surprise for you. The book collection I wanted, a new mattress, a hanging chair, a horseback camping trip in the mountains. What? It was a complete nightmare. Me and horses? We belong to completely different worlds. Don't even think about saying no. We've already paid for everything. I am not letting you spend the whole summer cooped up inside. When Mom left, I called my best friend Zoe. Unlike my parents, she accepted me exactly as I was. This is awful. I'm not cut out for a trip like this, and I don't know a single person there. I actually love hiking trips. If you want, I can come with you. You're a lifesaver. Knowing Zoe was coming with me calmed me down a bit, but I was still upset with my parents. On the first day of the trip, they drove me up to the camp at the foot of the mountains, wished me luck, and took off. Great! I'm the first one here. I felt utterly miserable, like a lonely turtle. If you're wondering why a turtle, just take a look at the size of my backpack. I should have just kept reading my novel. The handsome main character had only just shown up. The very next second, I heard a horse neigh somewhere nearby. I turned towards the sound, and my heart skipped a beat. It was him, my perfect hero. Those curly blonde locks, those blue eyes, and the way he carried himself in the saddle. I'll take him. Wrap him up for me. When the guy straight out of my dreams rode closer, I instinctively stepped toward him and… oh, damn! Our first meeting was definitely not supposed to go like this, with me lying on the ground, stuck under my own backpack. I was so embarrassed. I wanted the earth to swallow me whole. And then suddenly, I saw a hand reaching out to me. It honestly felt like a real angel had come to help me. I'd already started imagining our first kiss, our wedding, even our future children, when he suddenly burst out laughing. How are you supposed to ride a horse when you're this clumsy? In that moment, the image of my perfect hero, my angel, fell apart completely. None of your business. And honestly, you're much more attractive when you keep your mouth shut. That was the moment I noticed a small crowd had already gathered around us. Zoe was among the new arrivals. What got into you? Why were you so rude to him? Because he's an arrogant jerk. A moment later, our instructor, Mr. Daly, joined us. Welcome to the start of our trail, everyone. I'd like you to meet my assistant, Archie. If I'm busy, don't hesitate to address your questions to him. Oh, for heaven's sake. What did I do to deserve this? Do I seriously have to take orders from him? When the stable hands brought the horses over, Archie led them to us one by one. Don't be scared. I'm not scared. I was talking to the horse. His name's Caesar. If she gives you a hard time, let me know. Very funny, Mr. Jerk. While Mr. Daly was explaining how to get into the saddle, I decided it was my moment to impress everyone. Before this trip, I had read a lot about horseback riding, so I figured I knew a thing or two. Let's see who's clumsy now. Without waiting for Mr. Daly to say another word, I put my foot in the stirrup and I pulled myself up. Or at least, I tried to. Maybe I really should have done those workouts with Mom. At some point, Caesar finally ran out of patience. And the next thing I knew, I ended up on the ground. Again, Mr. Daly and that jerk, Archie, immediately rushed over to me. What on earth were you thinking? Try something like that again and you're going straight home. As if I'd mind. My back hurt from the fall, but my wounded pride hurt even more. Thanks a lot, Mom and Dad, for such a wonderful gift. For the next couple of hours, we practiced staying in the saddle before finally heading into the mountains. Caesar and I were trailing at the very back. Even Zoe was doing better than me. To make matters worse, she still found time to laugh at Archie's jokes with the other girls. Hey, where are you going? We're supposed to go straight! As I wrestled with the stubborn horse, a large branch suddenly blocked the path. It nearly knocked me out of the saddle. But even worse, Mr. Daly and his little sidekick saw the whole thing.
Archie, keep an eye on Candy. She seems to really enjoy falling off.
The whole group immediately burst out laughing, and I felt like the biggest loser ever. By evening, we set up camp beside a mountain river.
Whoever puts up their tent the fastest gets a special prize from me.
I read the tent instructions and had a rough idea of how it was all supposed to work. But after all the disasters earlier, I didn't want to touch it at all. No, I have to win. And you know what? I pulled it off. Done!
Everything's perfect. I honestly didn't expect that. Here's your prize.
Right. I was definitely expecting something more than a chocolate bar.
Where did you even learn to do that if you're always sitting at home?
I've got plenty of hidden talents. The next morning, we headed deeper into the mountains. I noticed Zoe was riding beside Archie. They were chatting and laughing so comfortably together, and it was seriously getting under my skin. That evening, we set up camp again and built a fire. Archie was playing the guitar, and all the girls were singing along. Zoe was by far the best. Of course she was. She'd been taking vocal lessons for a year. I couldn't sing at all, so I felt completely out of place. In the end, I left the campfire and walked down to the river.
Why did you leave? Are you okay?
No, I'm not. My best friend is flirting with my enemy instead of standing by me.
Enemy? You mean Archie? I'm not flirting with him. I just find him interesting. He knows a lot.
Sure, because talking to me must be so boring.
You know, I think you actually like Archie. That's why you're so worked up.
Don't be ridiculous!
Do you want some advice? If you want a guy to like you, stop acting childish and snapping at everyone.
For several days, Zoe and I didn't speak. Archie kept getting under my skin. The worst part was that every time we clashed, the entire group sided with him. She's so full of herself.
She really thinks she's something special.
I'm just gonna ignore them. This ridiculous hiking trip will be over soon, and I'll be back home. One night, I couldn't sleep. I stepped out of the tent and suddenly saw Archie. He was talking to the horses and feeding them apples.
Good boy.
It was like the horses understood him. As I watched Archie, I suddenly realized that maybe I really did like him. He wasn't actually a jerk after all. And the horses were nice too. Maybe I really had been acting stupid. I was against the whole hike from the beginning, so I had taken everything the wrong way. Suddenly, Archie turned around and I barely managed to duck out of sight. The next morning, I decided to talk to Zoe. You were right. I'm sorry for all the things I said. We made up, and for the rest of the day, I tried to be on my best behavior. I didn't even react when Archie kept trying to get under my skin.
Well, you haven't fallen once today. I'd call that progress.
Stay calm. Don't let negative energy get to you. At lunch, I got assigned cooking duty and had to make food over the campfire. You know, I'm not even that good with a normal stove.
It's not that hard, so stop trying to weasel your way out of it.
In the end, I had to cook over an open fire. I really tried to do everything right, but the food still got burnt. Ew, it smells like something's burned.
And it's way too salty.
Candy did this on purpose. That's so like her. Everyone except Zoe started blaming me. It felt awful and so unfair. Upset, I went over to the horses and climbed onto Caesar. I just needed a little ride and some time alone, but Archie came after me.
Get down right now. You can't ride off alone. It's not safe.
At first, I wanted to argue, but then I realized he was right. I was just about to dismount when Caesar suddenly bolted. Ah! He's gone crazy!
Hold on.
Archie jumped onto his horse and raced after me. Then, a deep gorge appeared ahead. I was already at the very edge when Archie caught up and grabbed Caesar by the reins.
Have you completely lost your mind? You're acting unbelievably selfish.
At that moment, my emotions got the better of me again and I broke down in tears. I really wanted to be better today. I honestly tried. It's not my fault that the stupid food got burnt. Suddenly, thunder rumbled overhead and Archie and I immediately tensed up.
There's a storm coming.
It's not safe to stay out in the open, and there's no way we'll get back to camp in time. We spotted a cave nearby and took shelter inside with the horses. We sat in silence for a while until Archie suddenly spoke up.
So, you really didn't ruin lunch on purpose?
No, I'm just not a very good cook. All of a sudden, we found ourselves having a real heart-to-heart. Archie told me about his family and his younger brother Rick, while I shared how much I loved books. By the way, before the hike, I read a really interesting book about horses.
I'm not much of a reader, but I would definitely make an exception for a book like that.
At that moment, Archie became the perfect main character again, and I suddenly felt like the heroine of a novel. He leaned a little closer and glanced at my lips. Wait, was he actually gonna kiss me? It felt like the kiss was about to happen. But then, Archie abruptly drew back, as though something stopped him.
The storm's over. We should head back.
When we got to camp, Mr. Daly was there to greet us, clearly annoyed.
Where have you two been? Oh, nowhere in particular.
We were just hiding from the storm. Archie and I kept each other's secrets, and that brought us even closer. The only person I told everything to was Zoe.
No way! He's totally into you.
I don't know. I feel like he's hiding something. The last few days of the hike went by without any trouble. I never thought I'd say this, but I didn't want our adventure to be over. Archie and I never had another moment alone, though sometimes I noticed him watching me with a thoughtful expression. At the end of the trail, a bus was waiting for us to take us back to the city. Archie stayed behind to help Mr. Daly, and I felt really sad about leaving.
Don't worry, we'll figure something out.
When I got home, my parents immediately noticed that I was in a bad mood.
Was the trip really that bad?
No, not really. A week later, I was sitting out in the garden trying to read, but I could not focus. Instead of the text, I kept seeing pale curly hair and blue eyes.
Still not over your Prince Charming?
He is not my Prince Charming.
Then this is your chance to change that. I have an idea. Remember how Archie seemed interested in that book about horses? You could use that as an excuse to go visit him.
And how exactly am I supposed to find out where he lives, genius?
What would you do without me? I wrote down the numbers and addresses of everyone in our group.
At first, I was ready to brush off her plan, but then I decided to give it one last shot. If nothing came of it, I'd just forget about Archie. When I got to his house, I froze on the front porch. Come on, get it together, Candy, this isn't scary. I pressed the doorbell, but instead of Archie, his mom opened the door. Excuse me, I came to see Archie. Is he home?
He's not home, but you can come in and wait. Call me Mrs. Cole. By the way, are you the girl Archie keeps talking about all the time?
What? He talked about me? Yep, I heard him.
This is Rick, my younger son.
I felt a little awkward, but inside I was thrilled. If Archie's been talking about me to his family, then maybe he really does like me.
Help yourself to the cookies. I made them myself.
Those cookies looked even worse than the lunch I'd cooked over the campfire that one time. But to be polite, I tried one anyway. 20 minutes passed, then another 20, and Archie still hadn't shown up.
There's a strong wind coming from the window. Rick, bring our guest a blanket.
I thought I'd only sit for a minute, but before I knew it, I had fallen asleep. The sound of the door shutting woke me up. When I opened my eyes, it took me a moment to realize where I was. What's going on? Oh no, did I really fall asleep? The next moment, Archie walked into the living room.
What are you doing here?
You once said you wanted to read the book about horses.
You could have just sent me a digital copy. Actually, you should probably leave. You're being so rude. Candy is such a sweet girl. She even ate all my cookies.
I didn't stay to hear the rest. I quickly said goodbye to Mrs. Cole, and I left. I felt awful, and my eyes were filling with tears. I was such an idiot! Why did I even come here? I spent the whole evening lying in bed texting Zoe. She was trying to cheer me up and felt guilty for coming up with the plan. The next morning, I decided to break my usual routine and go for a short walk. That's when I saw Archie standing by the gate.
I was worried you wouldn't let me in, so I didn't bother ringing the doorbell.
What are you doing here? And how do you even know where I live?
Zoe told me, though she wouldn't give me your address right away. I came to apologize for yesterday.
I seriously don't understand you. One minute you push me away, the next you go out of your way to see me again. Maybe you could finally explain what's going on.
It's complicated. I've been in love with this girl for a long time. Her name is Sabrina. Recently, my brother Rick overheard me talking to a friend about her. Then he blabbed to our parents, and now the whole family is trying to find out everything they can about the girl I'm crazy about. Yesterday, they mistook you for Sabrina. While you were asleep, Mom took a picture of you and sent it to the family group chat. Everyone thought it was adorable, and Aunt Sarah has already started imagining our future wedding.
That's awful!
That's why I got so angry, but I shouldn't have taken it out on you. during the hike, I even started thinking that I might like you, but still not the way I like Sabrina, and she doesn't feel the same about me.
At that moment, I felt sorry for him. Now I understood why he'd been acting that way.
Can we still be friends?
I hesitated for a second, then forced a smile. We can, and come on, let's go inside already. I still need to give you that book. A month later, I went back to my favorite cafe. I loved grabbing a coffee there and reading on the summer terrace. Then, suddenly, I saw Archie. He was walking hand in hand with a very beautiful girl, and they looked happy together.
Oh, come on, Sabrina.
I swear, that's exactly how it happened. I felt a little sad, but I was still happy that everything had worked out for them. Someday, I'll meet my perfect hero too.
Excuse me, do you mind if I sit here? All the other tables are taken.
What do you think? Maybe he's the one?